The internet had exploded the moment Sasha Obama had shared her secret. Yep, you heard that right. The most protected daughter in America had quietly revealed that she was pregnant, and suddenly the world could not stop talking. People had refreshed their screens again and again, trying to understand what had just happened. For years, Sasha had stayed away from drama, and that was why you won't believe how fast this news had taken over social media. Everyone had thought she would live a private life, far from headlines, but destiny took an unexpected turn and placed her right back into the spotlight. The story had spread like wildfire. Let me tell you, it had not been treated like a normal celebrity update. It had felt bigger, deeper, and much more emotional. What made it even more shocking was how Sasha had done it. She had not gone to any big news channel. She had not released any public statement. She had simply posted her truth online, and that single moment had changed everything. Fans had been left in disbelief because this was not how things usually worked in her family. The Obamas had always kept their private life behind closed doors, so when Sasha had spoken for herself, this is where it gets interesting. People had started to say that she was finally breaking free from being the president's daughter and becoming her own person. But at the same time, critics had rushed in, judging her choices and asking hard questions. What makes this story different? It was not just about a baby, it was about control. Sasha had taken control of her own story in a world that always tried to write it for her. She had known that rumors would come, and she had known that people would talk. But she had still chosen to be honest. The craziest part was that even after she had confirmed her pregnancy, she had not revealed who the father was at first. That silence had created more chaos than the announcement itself. Social media had turned into a guessing game. Some people had made wild claims, while others had tried to dig into her past. Every hour, new stories had appeared online. Some were kind, but many were cruel. People had tried to connect her to old boyfriends, old photos, and old rumors. But here is the shocking part. Sasha had stayed quiet through all of it. While the internet had been shouting, she had been calm. That calmness had made people even more curious. Everyone had wanted to know one thing. Who was the man behind this secret? Behind the scenes, insiders had whispered that Sasha was not afraid. She had already made her choice. She had just been waiting for the right time. This is how the story had slowly turned from a pregnancy reveal into a mystery that everyone wanted to solve. The pressure had grown every day. News pages had posted fake names, fake photos, and fake stories, and each one had made the truth more powerful. By the time Sasha had finally confirmed the father's name, the world had been ready to explode. You won't believe how much noise one name had made. When she had said Clifton Powell Jr., it had not just been an answer. It had been a shock. Suddenly, a man who had lived in the shadows had been pushed into the brightest spotlight. People had rushed to search his name, his family, and his past. Let me tell you, nobody had expected this twist. The story had no longer been just about Sasha. It had become about two families, two worlds, and a future that nobody could predict. This is where it gets interesting because what started as a simple pregnancy announcement had turned into one of the biggest celebrity mysteries of the year. And just when people thought they had understood it, something even bigger was waiting to come out. After Sasha had confirmed the name Clifton Powell Jr., the entire story had changed its direction overnight. Yep, you heard that right. A man that almost no one had heard of before was suddenly at the center of one of the biggest celebrity stories in America. People had rushed to search his name, and you won't believe how fast his life had turned upside down. One moment he had been living quietly, and the next moment he had been connected to the Obama family. Destiny took an unexpected turn, and it had pulled him straight into the spotlight. What made this even more surprising was how little people had known about him. He had not been an actor, a singer, or a social media star. He had stayed away from fame, even though his father had been a Hollywood name. This is where it gets interesting, because while everyone else in his family had been used to cameras, Clifton Jr. had chosen a calm and private life. That had made people even more curious. They had started asking, who really was this man that Sasha trusted so deeply? Social media had turned into a battlefield. Some people had praised him for staying humble, while others had tried to question his past. The craziest part was that no one had been able to find anything bad about him. There had been no scandals, no dirty stories, no leaked drama. That silence had made people even more suspicious. Let me tell you, in the world of celebrity gossip, a clean past always makes people dig even harder. While the internet had been busy searching for answers, Sasha and Clifton had stayed quiet. They had not posted couple photos. They had not gone on any interviews. But here is the shocking part. Sources close to them had quietly shared that they had been together for years. Their relationship had started long before the pregnancy, long before the rumors, and long before anyone had paid attention. This is how the story had gone from sudden shock to secret love. People had begun to realize that this was not some accident. This had been a relationship built in silence. Sasha had not chosen a man who wanted fame. She had chosen someone who had been happy to stay invisible. What makes this story different? Most celebrity couples loved attention, but this one had hidden from it. That alone had made their love feel more real and more dangerous at the same time. The pressure on Clifton had grown every day. Reporters had waited outside places he had visited. Fans had tried to follow him online. Some had even blamed him for taking Sasha away from her private life. You won't believe how fast the love story had turned into a test. Everyone wanted to know if he was strong enough to stand beside someone as famous as Sasha Obama. But behind all the noise, one thing had stayed clear. Sasha had trusted him. She had chosen him to be the father of her child. Destiny took an unexpected turn, but she had not looked back. This is where it gets interesting, because while the world had been judging Clifton, someone even more powerful had been watching closely. Someone who could decide his future. The moment Clifton Powell Jr.'s name had gone public, it had not only reached fans and reporters, it had reached his family. Yep, you heard that right. The man who had stayed quiet for years had suddenly become the center of attention inside his own home. His father, a well-known Hollywood actor, had not stayed silent. Let me tell you, when a famous father spoke, people listened. And what he had said had made everyone realize just how serious this situation really was. He had spoken about responsibility, respect, and love. But here is the shocking part. He had not talked like a movie star. He had talked like a protective father who knew what was at stake. He had reminded his son that Sasha was not just any girl. She was someone's daughter, someone's future, and now someone's family. This is how the love story had turned into something much heavier than just romance. The internet had reacted fast. Some people had praised the father for guiding his son. Others had said it sounded like a warning. The craziest part was that it had made people wonder if Clifton was under pressure he had never faced before. Dating Sasha had not been easy, but becoming the father of her child had raised the stakes to a whole new level. While Clifton's family had spoken, Sasha's family had stayed calm. This is where it gets interesting. Barack and Michelle Obama had not rushed to defend or explain anything. Their silence had said more than words. People close to them had shared that they had supported Sasha, not judged her. You won't believe how powerful that support had been, because when the Obamas stood behind someone, it meant everything. Michelle had once said that her daughters deserved to find love on their own terms. Now those words had become real. Sasha had not been treated like a child. She had been treated like a woman making her own choices. What makes this story different? Most families in the spotlight tried to control the narrative, but the Obamas had let Sasha live her truth. Still, the pressure had been intense. Every move Sasha made had been watched. Every smile had been analyzed. Some people had said she looked happy. Others had said she looked nervous. Let me tell you, carrying a baby while the whole world judged you was not easy. But Sasha had kept walking forward. Clifton had also been tested. Cameras had followed him. Comments had filled his pages. Some had questioned if he was ready. But here is the shocking part. He had not run away. He had stayed. He had faced the storm. Destiny took an unexpected turn, but he had not tried to escape it. Behind closed doors, the two of them had been building something new, a family, a future, a life that no headline could control. This is where it gets interesting, because just when people thought the hardest part was over, the past was about to come back and challenge everything. Just when people thought Sasha and Clifton had survived the worst of it, the past had returned to shake the present. Yep, you heard that right. Old stories, old photos, and old rumors about Sasha's dating life had suddenly started to appear again. People had begun to compare her past relationships with Clifton, trying to decide if he was really the right man. You won't believe how fast a love story had turned into a public trial. Some fans had defended Clifton, saying he was calm, respectful, and strong. Others had questioned if he could truly handle a life tied to the Obama name forever. Let me tell you, being in love with Sasha was not just about romance anymore. It was about pressure, fame, and responsibility. But here is the shocking part. Through all the noise, Sasha had not stepped back. She had stood even closer to him. People who knew her had said she looked different now, more focused, more sure of herself. This is where it gets interesting, because Sasha was no longer just a young woman in love. She was about to become a mother. That had changed everything. Every decision she made was now for two lives, not one. Destiny took an unexpected turn, but she had accepted it with strength. The internet had continued to argue, but Sasha had already chosen her path. She had chosen Clifton. She had chosen to keep her family together. What makes this story different? Most celebrity relationships break under pressure, but this one had grown stronger because of it. Even when rumors had tried to tear them apart, they had stayed united. The craziest part was that the more people doubted them, the more confident Sasha had seemed. She had stopped hiding. She had stopped apologizing. She had shown the world that love did not need permission. Let me tell you, that had been the real shock. As the time for the baby had come closer, Sasha and Clifton had been preparing quietly. No big announcements, no magazine deals, just two people getting ready for a new life. This is how their story had gone from secret romance to something much deeper. And now, as the world watched and waited, one truth had become clear. Sasha Obama was not running from her future. She was walking into it with courage. You won't believe how far she had come from the little girl in the White House. She had become a woman, a partner, and soon a mother. But here is the shocking part. This story was not really about fame or politics. It was about love, choice, and standing strong when everyone was watching. This is where it gets interesting because this was not the end. It was just the beginning of a life that no one could control except Sasha herself.